Hey guys, Dan here, and we come back to another reaction. This time we're going to be returning to Soundsmith Weapon Stereotypes, and this time episode 6, the Heavy. And guys, don't forget that I'm doing a community poll to see what is the best class in TF2 according to you guys. And right now we're on the final. Soldier, Heavy, and Medic, they are there fighting for the top. And come on, Heavy mains, we need to show our love for Heavy. Heavy is the best class, no doubt. Fight me. And without any further ado, let's get to the video, and I'll get to the recommendations and how can you support the channel by the end of the video so we don't lose any time. Okay, let's go.
So the heavy weapons guy is widely considered to be the face of TF2, since he's featured on the box art, in the promotional material. He's the guy that most people think of when they think TF2.
That's why I got into Heavy in the first place.
Popular characters to play for new players and veterans alike, right?
Oh yeah, of course, the soldier mains. The soldier mains.
You serious?
Heavy doesn't get all that much love these days, as is evidenced by the ocean of soldier mains, as well as the huge amounts of clueless snipers and spies, but that doesn't mean that the heavy is free from stereotypes. So before we get started, let's quickly go over that disclaimer thing again. Stereotypes don't mean everyone, there are exceptions to them, so don't go thinking that these videos are a set-in-stone rule on what you should think of players using a certain weapon. That's really dumb.
As always, a stereotype
Okay,
doesn't
we
apply
ready?
to everyone.
All
Oh,
right.
he has a golden minigun. That's nice, Soundsmith. I like it.
I mean, what is there to say about the minigun that isn't obvious just by looking at it? It's a massive
Sasha.
behemoth of a gun. It does insane damage up close, and it will completely shred anyone that tries to take it head on. That said, the same thing applies to basically every heavy primary, so I guess this doesn't really say anything specific.
Oh,
If you see
the
a heavy with a
Bathoovy.
stock minigun deployed, you know they mean business, but the individual stereotype will really depend on what variant they have, be it Australiums, Festives...
If it's an Australian, you are
whatever.
very
But
much
that's a
dead.
series for another day.
Because they usually have a pocket medic. If it's festivized, you have a
You
chance.
don't have a strange variant of the stock minigun, and you're competent at gambling against AI. Not many people use this weapon, which is a shame. I do really wish that Valve would give us a Stranger Fire for this, since it's a really cool reskin, and I bet way more people would use it if it tracked their kills. This guy just hates scouts. That's
I
it.
never
can't
used
say I blame him.
Natasha. I
If
don't
there's a
know. I
fast
never
boss
got
deployed
to.
being
I never got
annoying,
ahead to
this
use
is the
it.
fastest way to shut him down. It's also worth noting that the slowdown effect that this weapon has is affected by distance. It's a lot like damage fall off, but with stun mechanics. So it might not be enough to slow someone to a standstill like it used to do, but it is enough to throw you off just ever so slightly when you're rocket jumping, which is why KJ has taken to using this weapon a lot recently.
Ah, yes.
Are you still there?
Yes.
Oh no. Oh, come on. That was one bullet.
Oh,
Threw me
poor
over.
Soundsmith losing all the momentum. I remember when I used that a lot, a fairly lot.
Since it gives a straight damage buff, which is something that you can't spend credits on to upgrade. It's actually an active subject of debate which minigun is best for MVM, but if your medic is keeping you alive, this is amazing for putting out huge amounts of damage.
Jesus.
Now in pubs, however, these guys are generally pretty new, and as a result, most
Yeah, I
players'
remember I
heavies
wanted
are
that one because it was the
completely
most cool looking minigun out of all of them. It just gave a sensation of power.
This guy swears by the Tomislav. He will argue day and night that it's the best minigun for heavy, and I guess he's got a point. It's really, really
Is it just for me, or,
good.
or
It's
the
better than stock.
Tomislav it makes it seems
Well,
like the
I don't know,
heavy
can
is
form your
giving
own
you the
opinions on
finger?
that, but Tomislav heavies are those guys that will never shut up about how superior their opinions are. But they
And
also
Soundsmith
usually
has
carry
two
sandwiches,
heavy
so I guess I can't be
Australians.
too mad at them.
That's a lot.
This guy's a cart heavy. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. This guy.
I
Yeah,
remember
that
those
one.
times
I mean,
where I
it's
used to
honestly
do
not
that.
a terrible strategy if you've got a pyro to work with. The cart negates the ammo consumption penalty, and the pyro can give you targets to focus down while you're revved up and super glued to the objective, so it's kind of smart in a way, but that doesn't make them any less annoying to deal with.
If you got a
This guy
competent
is
spy
either really
against
new
a
or
heavy
fast.
with
The
a
vast
flame
majority
along
of
it,
tryhard
you don't have any
heavies use the
chances.
sandwich,
He will jump
so
the fight, the
presence
ring
a
of fire,
shotgun
and kill
usually
you.
means that he's just messing around. That said, I'd be ignoring a huge chunk of shotgun heavies if I left out the new players. These guys haven't really unlocked anything for the heavy yet, but due to the nature of the class, they're still quite useful if you stick close to them and help them out. Okay, this guy is definitely a fat scout. He's played the game long enough to get unlocks for the heavy, but he's still not using the sandwich. This takes the new player that hasn't unlocked anything stereotype out of the equation, and just leaves you with that one guy that isn't taking anything seriously, but is still somehow getting frags.
Fair enough. I love fat scouts.
You know what this is. It's not a weapon. It's a sandwich. It's a fucking actually, it's a sandwich. There's a V in there.
Save the demo man. Yes, you saved them.
At least you use because you've been pressured by your team.
Oh, come on, demo man. You need to say thank you for the heavy.
You're obviously not spy checking enough, and you're not protecting your medic, and you're not looking for flankers.
Sniper, come back here.
Sentry nest and. Well, you know what?
Wow, sniper, that's very unconsiderative.
Or a robo sandwich if you're feeling particularly passive aggressive, and sling it at their faces. And maybe then they'll appreciate us, because who doesn't love a healer, right? A good right-click toss with this thing says to your team, I have trained all my life to give you this medium health pack. And by the time you're halfway through that statement, they're dead.
He just fell off! He just walked off of the cliff!
Outside of times 10 mode, you really rarely see this used.
I always use the Dolaco's bar. I always use it.
Though, which is why you'll see it slightly more often on payload maps or really anywhere with long sightlines.
I never use that one
anymore. This guy is not taking the game seriously at all. By all accounts, it's a really bad weapon, aside from maybe a flank-heavy playstyle with the stake as a utility, and even
look at that hoov, it's really magnificent.
Bad. It is seen as the heavy meta in medieval mode, though, along with the killing gloves of boxing, so I guess it's not entirely useless. But either way, if you see a Buffalo stake heavy, just don't expect him to get anything done. That way, when he goes on a huge tear with the frying pan, it's more of a pleasant surprise. These guys are usually new players. I mean, sure, there's the I use this because I have a strange variant fist heavies, and
I have that.
There are some people
That's
that just
me.
like punching the crap out of their enemies. But it's most common to see on full stock heavies. Same deal as what I said about shotgun heavies. Stick close to them and help them out, and they'll be a surprisingly valuable asset to your team.
I have that one.
These guys also like punching people, but they also really like Mr. Torg.
Punch him so hard he explodes!
Now, like I mentioned earlier, this is the meta for medieval mode. You can go on huge tears with this, and it's amazing. Also,
I need to play MVM, not also MVM, but I need to play Capture the Point, the Grid Keep again. That's so cool.
This weapon on heavies that are actually trying to play the game and capture the objective, so just keep that in mind. This is one of the most common weapons used by tryhard heavies. The speed boost is a fantastic utility, despite the mini-crits carrying over after you switch off of it. But anyway, gloves are running urgently heavies probably take the game more seriously than your average hoovie does.
Yes, they take very seriously the meta to win the game.
Why would you even use this weapon? It's just so bad. Okay. I guess Warriors Spirit Heavies are using this because they're new and don't realize what it does, or they're just curious to see how bad it actually is. I mean, I'm well aware that there's probably going to be that one guy who will fight tooth and nail trying to prove that this is a good weapon, and now that I've said this, there's going to be a bunch of them, but I still can't think of one reason why you'd actually want to use this.
Now that's the meta.
This is one of those weapons that can be used by both serious and not serious players. It's an amazing utility for tanking damage and making escapes for those that want to try hard, and it's also really good at preventing damage in order to get up close and punch people if you just want to be a fat dude running around punching people. There's something for everyone in this weapon, so you'll just have to judge them based off of other stuff. Like their hats.
And there's a series about that, right?
This weapon probably isn't too comfortable with the heavy's default movement speed, but also thinks that the grooves
I am terrible with that weapon.
So
I cannot aim for fast weapons attacks like that. So, oh yeah, the JoJo reference, but I am terrible with that weapon. I'm terrible, and that's my favorite one.
While this weapon is actually pretty good at stuffing Ubers if random crits are a thing, the vast majority of holiday
oh, there you go, got him.
What? Friendlies? Screw those guys, they're ruining TF2!
Hey, shut up, tryhard. It's just a game.
Of course.
Why don't you let people play how they want?
I'm going to completely ignore any and all arguments you may have against me and instead attack you personally, you fucking pansy.
Snipers.
Well, I'm going to completely ignore any and all arguments you might have and instead attack you personally, you fucking tryhard.
Oh, fight. Fight! Oh yeah! Oh, that would be so cool to actually have in the server everyone in one side of the battlefield, and then everyone just completely start to fight like that. That would be so cool.
I'm gonna sit this one out. I'll be back.
Oh, that looks so cool. Is this the end? Is this the end? Yes.
Okay, I'm back. Is it over? Alright, cool. Anyway, that's all the weapons for heavy that weren't already talked about in the multi-class episode. NG is up next, so if you have any suggestions or input that you want me to see, leave a comment or shoot me a tweet, or do whatever, I guess. I try to read everything I can and get as big of a sample size as possible, so don't hesitate to chip in. Anyway, that's all I've got, so, yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.
So yeah, guys, that was weapon stereotypes for the heavy. I think I really like that, especially because heavy goes into that category of classes that are not paid much attention or not that valuable game-wise to look at, because they are really abandoned. And remember, heavy really needs a heavy update. Valve, please give us a heavy update. But that scene where everyone was in one side and then they start an epic brawl of tryhards versus casual players, that was amazing. That was really cool to see. I wish Soundsmith would do more of those in his videos or skits for the weapon stereotypes. That would be really cool. And what about you guys? Did you guys like the video? I think I like this. Heavy is my favorite class and my main, so I always enjoy to see heavy content. So guys, if you can, please go to the original video and give a like for Soundsmith. If you can also give a like to the video, subscribe, leave a comment to suggest a new reaction or how I can improve with the channel, and also ring the bell to never miss a video again. And if you also can, recommend the channel to your friends. Maybe they'll like the channel. And with that, I think we've come to an end. I wish you guys a very good day, a very good year, because we all deserve a better year after 2020 and 2021. And bye. Bye.